Who do we go?
Midday. What happened?
She won easy.
I'm going with Aconite again.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason why, if you looked at the whole meet at Keeneland, the horses that were coming from Belmont and Saratoga did not run well. He run huge, had a wide trip the whole way. Second time around 2 turns. I'm all over Aconite, and hopefully we can get 5-6 to 1.
Greg, where are you going?
No one's talking about Noble's Promise.
All right.
Race, huh?
Who beat Aconite?
They beat it, yeah.
I know.
Amazing. Well, the champ is back, going for 2 in a row in the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile. Goldakova, she has an outside post. We'll talk about it when we come back. Welcome back to the Breeders' Cup Preview Show. Bet 50, get 50. There's no reason not to get signed up with a TVG account. Go to tvg.com for all the details and be part of the biggest day of the entire year. And if you're in Southern California, head out to Arcadia and make it to the track. Up next is the Breeders' Cup Mile, the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile. We, of course, are sponsoring this race this year. And, gentlemen, the champ is back. Goldakova trying to make it 2 in a row in this race. She had won 3 in a row before a defeat last time out at Longchamp. Paul, I'll start with you. Concerned now with that defeat last time out, or is she still as highly regarded as everyone thought she was? I mean, our preview show all year long, she was pretty much ranked #1.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a concern. I think the last race was a little bit too short for her, where she went 7 furlongs. And talking to the Euros the other night when we had the media party, they said that he put her into the race a little bit too early and used her up early, and she had no kick late. Now I'm wondering here, being out of the 11 hole, if he's going to have to do the same thing to get her in position. But she's very, very classy. She destroyed a field last year. I think this is a better field than we saw in 2008. So I think she is the horse to beat, but maybe a little bit of vulnerability there. Simon, what do you think?
I agree with you. The post position is key here. You've got 2 options Olivia Pele has. Either go or take back. He's going to have to make that split-second decision coming out of the gate. And if she runs to anything like her last effort going 7 furlongs, she was too close to the pace. And from what I understand, the connections weren't happy with that. I think the extra mile will help her, of course. But, yeah, the post position is the big problem here. She's definitely good enough to win this race again, though.
Well, let's bring in Tony. And Tony, how highly regarded is she back in Europe? Is she one of the best bets on the card?
She definitely was until the draw. I mean, she was trading odds-on in England up until recently, but after the draw, some bookmakers are out to get her tomorrow, offering 7-4 about this filly. I think that could be a big mistake and a big overreaction. I mean, this filly is rated £7 clear on time form ratings on an absolutely stunning win in the Marois when it beat Acklam by 6 lengths. On that form, she will win this and win this well.
Well, let's take a look at a backtrack here, and this is a look at a Group 1 win in which 6-length victory, Simon, on the turf. You don't see margins of victory that often in turf races.
You certainly don't, especially beating the boys here. I mean,
especially in a Grade 1.
Yeah, Acklam's a Grade 1 performer in his own right. This is a very, very good filly. You know, she's trained by Freddie Head. Freddie Head rode Miesk, who won this race in back-to-back years in 1987 and 1988. And he has said that this filly might be better than Miesk. That is some tall language right there, because Miesk was very, very good. And more back-to-back winners have come out of this race than that. You talk about Lure, Miesk, and De Haas, who not back-to-back, but won twice in 3 years. So I think a lot of points in her favor.
Well, Tony, this looks to be the race where the Europeans are the most stacked. If it is not Goldakova of the Europeans, who do you think it might be?
Yeah, I mean, just before we leave Goldakova, an interesting stat there. 4 of her 5 defeats have actually been at Longchamp, so it could well be that's not her ideal track. So that's another interesting factor thrown to the mix there. Zachinto is the kind of horse that Sir Michael Stout excels with. Beaten by Delegator in the Celebration Mile, but gave Rick Van Winkle something to think about last time out in the QET, so could be an improver there. The horse I'm most looking forward to seeing in this race is Gladiatorus. Now, this was rated the top-rated horse in the world after winning in Dubai in the season. If you think Careless Jewel went out quick in front on Friday, look and see what this horse does tomorrow. I mean, this could well be bounce back to form. A bounce back to form in some degree in Italy last time. It was a soft race, but a left-handed, two-turn track. This horse could go out in front and it could well stay there. I think it's trading around about the 12-1 mark. And I think some people have forgotten, like I said, Timeform did rate this horse the best horse in the world after those Dubai exploits early in the season. So it is a fascinating race. For me, Goldakova is drifted out to far too big a price now, but Gladiatorus could be the one to expose any weakness.
Well, guys, post 11, there's not a long run to that first turn, but we did see a pretty nice filly win this race before by the name of Six Perfections, and she was stuck all the way on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, Six Perfections, Goldakova, I think you can put them in the same class. They're both very good horses. To touch on something Tony talked about, Gladiators, this is a horse that in left-handed courses like the American courses, he is 6 for 6, and that's another feather in his cap.
Well, here's a look at the Girl Power fillies to win the Breeders' Cup Mile. Six Perfections, that was back in 2003. There have been some others to do it. You brought up Miex, Simon. Back-to-back years, and Goldakova trying to equal that mark. We'll see if she can get it done. She's got to beat the likes of this American contingent as well. We'll start with Cowboy Cal, who's very, very quick, and he doesn't have to work out a trip for himself in this race.
No, he certainly doesn't. That's where he likes to be, is up on the front end. The problem with him, though, he does bear out in his races. Don't be alarmed when you see John Velasquez hanging on the left rein trying to keep this horse in. That's what he does. He did it in the Bernard Baruch 2 starts back. He did it here in the Oak Tree Mile from about the 3/8 pole home. You can see here, look, the rider, Garrett Gomez, on this day is just leaning in. Also in this race is What's the Script. And you can see Garrett Gomez, what I'm talking about, Cowboy Cal. This is what he does. So, I mean, I'm not sure that's a move I like at this level of competition. You know, horses getting out, Tom.
What makes me nervous about Cowboy Cal is he does it on the turn. That's one thing, but you know he actually does it late in the race. He'll do it right here. He's starting to drift right there. And this race is not going to be won clear by any horse. So if Cowboy Cal is a factor towards the wire, he's going to have some other horse to contend with. Let's hope he doesn't interfere with him.
I'll tell you what, though, this horse likes to fight. I'll tell you what,
Yep.
He's got a lot of heart. He's 3 for 3, going a mile. I agree. You know what's funny? When he raced at Saratoga, he lugged out. I'm like, this horse might be finished. And he came back and he won the next start. So he's a very, very game horse. I think he's a notch below a lot of the Europeans. But now with Gladiatorius maybe going to the lead, I don't know if Cowboy Cal can lay off. It's going to be interesting which one of those goes first.
4 Europeans in this race. They are stacked and loaded. Tom, where are you going to wind up at the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile?
Well, you know, I'm going to go with the Europeans, and I'm going to go with Goldakova because I respect her, and I remember her race last year. But it was a tough decision. I'm going to give you a long shot as well for Nelly the 7. He's a horse that is trained very, very well, comes in the race the right way. In my opinion, an improving horse.
I'm going to go with the Europeans in here. There's been 25 runnings of this race. The Europeans have won it 10 times. 5 of those have been right here in Southern California. I'm going to go with Delegated, though, and the reason I'm doing that is because of the post position for Goldakova. She's the best horse, the best filly in this race, but I just give the edge to here with Delegated because of the better post position, post 4. So how am I going to play this race? I'm going to use an exacta box, 4, 8, and 11. Just use all the Europeans here. Use the 7 for Nelly as a long shot. I echo
Even
Tom's
though
sentiment.
you were on with John McCrick and he said Delegator doesn't stay a mile.
Yeah, but can you listen to a guy that looks like that?
Oh!
You sure you
Shot
don't
across
want
the
to play
bow.
sensational?
Paul, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go with the other European. I'm going with Sanginto. And the reason why, if you look at this horse's form, he's getting better and better. A 3-year-old, so Michael Stout, one of the best trainers in the world. And the thing I like is it has a good race over a firm ground, soft ground, good ground. I don't think to travel. Very lightly raced. This horse is improving. Beat Delegator by almost 3 lengths last time. I think this is the now horse. I mean, Goldakova is going to be tough, but if she's going to get beat, I think she gets beat by one of the other 2, the 4 or the 8 Delegator or Sanginto.
All right, no one buying it that it was just that soft turf course that beat Just Enough Humor last time out. He'd won 6 in a row on the turf before that defeat.
He's in this race?
You wouldn't know it by listening to us, would you?
No, European domination, but yes. Greg, legitimate excuse last time out with Just Enough Humor. If you back him, pay attention to him going into the gate. Notoriously a bad gate horse. You have to pay attention to him as he loads in the gate.
All right, we're going to take a break in the action. We will be back. The Europeans look awfully strong in the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile. Los Angeles, the site for the biggest racing day in the world. We'll be back. Your exclusive TVG Breeders' Cup jacket. Order yours today while supplies last. Only $79.99. I haven't been able to get one of these.
What?
No, I couldn't get one.
You haven't? Cough up? Cough up to $79.99.
Join the club.
Yeah.
AllProChamps.com, where you can order that beautiful jacket online, which we could probably use out here. It's getting a little bit chilly, dark behind us with us turning back the clocks. We're going to be up early here tomorrow morning for the biggest racing day of the year. We're going to be moving on to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and the Europeans, again, holding a strong hand in here. Simon, Master Craftsman, 6-5 on the morning line.
Well, I have to like Master Craftsman, right? I picked Delegator in the last race, and Master Craftsman beat him in the St. James's Palace Stakes, and then we're talking about Lord Chanakil in the turf sprint out of that race as well. He's installed at 6-5. That's the line he should be. The American contingent here, not that strong. Pyro, 10-1, vulnerable. He's a one-turn horse.